Hello everyone, I am coming to you today with a new flavor, a good one this time. This one I kind of put together because it's a mixture of me and my kids' favorite fermented drink that I like. So what I got here today is I've got some, this is like a flat peach. I can't remember the name of it, I'm sorry. I'll put it in the video, like in the little comment area, because I cannot remember the name of it. But I got like this weird little flat peach, and it was like, I don't know, it came to be about like that big, and it was a peach, but it was like smushed, you know, and they were like really, really good. So I got one of those, and the rest of it is two types of plums. I'll put the type below as well, because I don't know which one. I have the purple ones, and I have a little bit of the red plum. One of them is really, really tangy. The other one's more of the sweet one, okay? And right here, I have the blueberries, okay? And I am not going to put any yeast packets in this because just like the pineapples that I used in some of my other videos, if you watch those, if you haven't, check those out. But in those videos, I use pineapple as my active agent. And this one, I'm going to use blueberries because you know that white stuff, like right there on the outside of the blueberries, that is actually their active yeast already right there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put them in first. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is crush them just to get the juices out. This right here is my potato masher, but I guess you can use a spoon or whatever you have, or you can blend them up. I mean, that would be a whole lot faster, wouldn't it? But I figure, why make something else dirty when I can just do it all in here? And you can hear that kind of buzz sound in the background. Sorry, y'all. I live in Texas, and it is 103 today. And I have the rest of the fruit. And then I'm going to crush these up a little bit as well to get their juice going. Because what I have learned about fermenting plums is if they have any active yeast, I don't really know. I didn't Google, I didn't look it up. Probably should, but I didn't. But they don't do anything. Like they really don't. Like you're gonna need something else in there because I was waiting for it to get its carbonation process happening by creating some CO2, and it just didn't happen for me. Like it just stayed. So if they have yeast content, it's very low. So if you're not going to use an active powdered yeast or a kefir in this, and you want to use all fruit, then you're going to want to use a type of fruit that's going to have more yeast in it. And so far I have learned that grapes have a whole lot of yeast. You can use those as an active agent. You can use blueberries, you can use pineapple, and peach also. I think maybe out the outside fuzz, maybe that's why. I'm not sure why, but I'm gonna mix 2 cups of sugar into it. Okay, right here I have my spring water. That's not what I'm gonna do. Just gonna mix it in there. And before I put that water in here, I'm gonna add one more ingredient. I don't know if you guys ever tried it before, but plums and peaches go really, really well with basil. So I'm gonna add some basil leaves in there as well, just to get the other colors, the other flavors in there. A little bits of something different. Because I've made so many of these, I'm starting to get really, really creative with the flavor combinations that I've started creating. Some things work, some things don't. If you saw my fermented watermelon soda video, that was one of them that didn't work. But it could work for someone. It just didn't work for me. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this water in there. Still some sugar in there. So I'm back. Okay, so I'm going to add one more, maybe like a half cup of sugar. Okay, I'm going to use a Ziploc bag. Just basically weigh it down a bit. Just push out some of the air. Close that bag. Okay, you guys, so I went ahead and put the top on and everything. It's ready to do its thing. Basically, what I'm going to wait for and I'm going to check for is carbonation coming from the bottom. I made sure I used the same kind of water here that I used inside, just in case it got cross-contaminated. I would not have to worry anything about tap water affecting my mixture here. So I'm going to put it on my counter. Remember, I'm here in Texas, so my house gets very warm now. So I am going to watch it like crazy to make sure that it does not go over. Even though I kind of doubt that it will, because plums don't go fast, but like I said, I got those blueberries in there, so it's gonna lift off. So I'm gonna set it on my counter. If you have the same problem that I do with the heat and everything, you're going to want to check it a lot more often. And I think that, if for some reason you get any color other than the color of your container mixing at the top or white, then it's gone too far. Then that means that it's mold and it's bad. But you won't get that problem if you make sure you fill your containers up and weigh it down so that all of your fruit will stay below and won't hit the oxygen, so it won't go bad. Now you have some people, they don't even do that. You have some people, they don't even do what I do. They just put everything in there and they stir it every day. As long as you keep on agitating it and you make sure that you're moving whatever is at the top to the bottom sometimes, then you probably won't get mold as well. There's a whole lot of different ways to do fermentation, and one of the things I hate about how it's handled in, I guess we call it the fermentation community, is everything is so exact, you know, and I understand that even though it's a science, you don't have to be a scientist. I think that some people are affected when they see all the numbers and things that go into it, and it's a drawback to people that want to try something new. I know, especially for me, you know, my husband used to always talk about how he wanted to do brewing, or he wanted to make a mead or something all the time. And you know, when we started talking about it and buying like charboys and all that kind of stuff, it just all sounded so complicated. So he actually never got around to it. He never did it, you know. And I think that's part of the reason why is sometimes this all seems so complicated. You know, I get comments sometimes, or I get, you know, messages in from people, and they ask a lot of questions about, well, you know, what if this goes wrong, or what if that goes wrong, and what if I get mold and my family dies, or something like that. And it's just like, simmer down, you know, calm yourself. This is an ancient practice. This is nothing new. There might be someone that does it better, you know. Of course, you know, people manufacture this stuff. They've been doing it for years, you know. So, but you can do this at home. You can do this yourself without hurting yourself, without hurting your family, and you don't have to approach it in a way of, this is going to be so difficult for me when it comes down to measurements and how much salt and how much sugar. When it all boils down to it, after you do this enough, you're going to learn yourself how things are going to work. You're going to learn about your environment and how it affects, you know, your sodas or your beers or whatever you happen to be fermenting. You're going to learn, and there are some things that you can read and it's going to teach you, or videos that you can watch. There's a lot of things out there, but there is nothing better than experience. Nothing better. I've done some things that didn't work that well for me, but I'm happy that I tried it. I learned from the experience. I'm learning about fruit. I'm trying new things. I'm doing a whole lot of, you know, new cool stuff that in the past I would have been intimidated by when I find, you know, what the comments look like and the questions I get. The biggest thing is people are very intimidated by this, and they think that, oh, I'm going to do something and it's going to go wrong. If you're really scared to do this, start off with something small. You know, make a little, you know, a smaller container. You don't have to use this. It's really basic. It's water, fruit, sugar. As long as one of those fruit or all of them have the yeast already contained in it, it's going to do its thing on its own, whether you want it to or not. Now, basically, all we're doing is watching the process, stopping it when we're ready to suit our needs. But this is just nature. Like, it's not as complicated as it feels, you know. So I hope you guys feel a lot more inspired. If you have any questions or concerns concerning how I made this, how I did my other videos, problems you've run into, you know, during fermentation, or if you just, you know, want to comment about something about this process that intimidates you when you start, you know, trying new things and experimenting with food, you know, how do you feel about that? So that is all. I'm gonna sit this. You'll see me back, you know, in a Zoom. Okay, this is day 2. Already there's some carbonation in there. You can see a lot of the sediment. Oh, you can actually see it moving right there in the bottom. So the blueberry, plum, peach, basil is doing pretty good. This is only day 2. Hello, I am back with my plum, peach, blueberry, basil soda here. It has been a week and it is highly carbonated. There's a whole lot of sediment right now at the bottom of it. I'm going to go ahead and open the bottle. Hope it doesn't explode on me. So, it didn't. Good. Oh. Now, this one here, I did not put as much sugar in it. Already I can smell the difference. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because this is a learning process and a learning curve for me and probably for a lot of other people. Okay? So, I've been having lots of bottles of this already since it's been in the fridge and it's had more time to age. So, it smells more like a beer now. Okay? And I have not had it since it got beery on me. Go ahead and open it. Oh! And it smells a little bit like cherries, I think, for some reason. I don't know why. It didn't really smell that way before, but it's going to change. Yeah, so it's like really tart, kind of like a beer. Not a whole lot of sugar in there at all. For people that are concerned about their sugar intake, then I suggest adding less sugar or giving your bottles more time to age, okay? If that's not something that you want, then go ahead and add more sugar in there. Add enough sugar that you're going to still taste the sugar at the end of your process. That's important, okay? But this turned out pretty good. I don't know how I feel about it without as much sugar as usual, because the plum one is usually my favorite flavor. My children say that it kind of reminds them of I don't know, one of those Snapples. I think like I can't remember the name of it. The fruit punch. The fruit punch. My children usually say that it kind of tastes like the fruit punch Snapple, but you want to make sure that you get plums that are not close to like overripe. Like you want them tart. You want all of that flavor to be like really good, and you want that plum to be firm. Okay, you want a firmer plum. If it's already falling apart on you, then it's going to, that flavor profile is not going to go right. Also with plums, they do not ferment by themselves, okay? I've done quite a few plum recipes already, and I always have to add something extra. So I suggest adding a ginger bug or a fruit kefir or yeast if you're interested in that. It would be a great addition to this. But you can also make a, let's see, you can make a pineapple bug out of the pineapple skin islets, or you can make a grape bug. Just crush you some grapes up, and you'll be home selling with that. It's going to create a starter for you very quickly, and that would be a good addition to the plum. Or any kinds of fruit that you're trying to ferment and you notice that they don't have a natural yeast already in it, or it may be so little that instead of it fermenting properly, that it just goes bad on you. Okay, so I hope you liked my video. I hope you try my recipe. Okay, there's a lot of different ways to make chicken, lots and lots of different ways, and I think this is basically the same process. Fermentation is an ancient practice. It's done in many places all over the world, from fish to food to all kinds of stuff, different kind of roots, whatever you're going to try. But definitely put yourself out there, you know, and break down some of those boundaries and try some new things. And what I found mostly is this isn't like cooking, like a recipe. You're going to learn different things about this, about adding sugar or adding salt, what that does, how much of it will work, how much of it doesn't. You have a lot of people that they get really caught up on how much to add or what's the correct way to do something. And the correct way is what's going to work for you. What's going to get you to step out of your comfort zone, what's going to cause you to make some new risk in your life to educate yourself to see how different things are going to work for you. I think a lot of times in my comments, especially on Instagram, a lot of people seem to be quite concerned about, how it's done, and I think some people think too much about it and they get very overwhelmed in their head and they're afraid, oh my God, like I'm gonna make something and it's going to create like a horrible mold and I can get sick and die and everything is gonna. No, okay? If the colors that appear at the top of your mixture is not white or the color that's in the container, you just start over and try something new. Or if this is something that frightens you, then you start with smaller containers until you can get used to what's going to work with your climate and your taste buds, your family, and your lifestyle, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you like it, go ahead, comment, and subscribe. Tell me any problems you've had with fermentation, if you've had any before, or, express to me your fears about it, or what, you worry about the most, and just leave that down in the comments, and if I can answer your question, I will definitely do that. You guys have a great day.